Okay, what is up YouTube? Welcome to episode 19 of the FPL Family. My name is Lee, this is Sam, and we've had records broken, guys. Records broken this game week. Have you ever seen a more inept defensive performance than that Saints performance on Friday night? We didn't have to wait long for it. Friday night, first game of the game week. Were Leicester good or were Saints really, really bad? I think I know which side of the coin I fall on.
Credit Leicester, I think. I thought Leicester were really good.
Credit Leicester. Saints were awful. Well, 9 goals, so you can't say Leicester were bad. They did. I tell you what, I thought Leicester really wanted to make a statement there.
Absolutely.
Saints were there absolutely for the taking. They were terrible, absolutely terrible.
Leicester wanting to win for the old boss, bless him.
They wanted to win for the old boss, of course, and they obviously wanted to win to go second as well above Man City. What a statement to make, guys. What a statement by Leicester City. The Fox is on absolute fire. I know one person that will be very, very upset, though.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very upset.
Your best mate in all the world.
Our best mate.
Well, no, I don't think he's my best mate.
My mate over on FPL FYI, which I'm on next week, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing my mate Rambo on FPL.
You're going to give him a cuddle, aren't you?
FYI. He's going to need a hug, isn't he?
You're going to have to give him a
He's
cuddle.
going to need a hug. Triple captain.
You might have to
Danny
sit
Ings.
on Rambo's side of the table, not next to James. You might have to move.
Triple captain Danny Ings, though. That's harsh, isn't it? That's harsh. Hold off at half time.
Well, I hope Danny Ings is going to send Rambo an apology because it is Danny Ings did call him out to do it. So.
I think it should be Ryan Bertrand that sends him an apology, shouldn't he, for getting a red card?
Yeah.
Goodness me. Well, I happen to think the Saints were particularly bad. Doesn't get any better for them. Away to Man City next game.
All on Man City.
Man City captains all round, guys. Welcome to this episode of FPL Family. Hope you're well. It's been loads to talk about, right? Again, loads to talk about. I feel like we have loads to talk about every single week. Again, we could do a whole hour on VAR again, couldn't we? Frankly, I mean, it's just VAR-tastic again. We've got all the stuff that was going on with Kevin De Bruyne we're going to talk about. We've got the Leicester Saints game that we've got to dig into a bit deeper. Man United are back, potentially. Martial making a difference to them. 3 goals and actually 2 missed penalties. Tim Krul with 16 points, despite losing 3-1.
How does Tim Krul get 16 points when he's conceded 3 goals?
Just absolutely ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And also, of course, guys, all the fallout from the FPL Family Derby, Liverpool versus Spurs, which was it was a good game, but it was just it's a weird game, wasn't it? It's a weird game. You get Spurs getting the early goal, Liverpool hammering on the door, but Gazaniga, save after save after save for Gazaniga. Yet another goalkeeper, guys, on the losing team gets the 3 bonus points, and he got something like 8 or 9 points, didn't he, Gazaniga? Fully deserved. He should have been man of the match.
It's been so many months now of Spurs fans calling for Gazaniga to play.
He played well. He did play well.
And he is putting his... What is it?
Marker in the ground, or whatever it is. His stamp of authority on the game.
Yeah. He was saying, I want this spot. It's mine.
All right, well, listen, guys, we're going to get into all the games as we usually do. We've got the games to talk about. We've got our teams to look over as well, how we got on, my team and your team. We've got the October Manager of the Month result for our patrons who've won that league. And, of course, November League is now open. And if you're a Patreon follower, you can get over to patreon.com/FPL Family right now and go and grab the code for November. So you've got between now and next game week, which is Friday or Saturday? Saturday deadlines. You've got between now and Saturday patrons to go over, check out and get the code for the November Manager Month. And if you want to take part in the November and Manager of the Month, there's details later on in the video, or you can head straight to the description. Links in the description below. Patreon.com/FPL Family. But before all of that, we have a really lovely announcement, very exciting announcement to tell you about, which I think I might have let slip a little bit on the last live stream. The guys were giving me a bit of abuse on Twitter afterwards about...
Hang on. Slightly. You just basically went all out there. I was just... You just were like, oh, well, yeah, you might as well tell him then.
Was I in trouble with David? I was in trouble, wasn't I?
I don't know, but I wasn't in trouble.
No, I was in trouble with Neil, actually. Neil on Twitter. Just like, what's going on here then? So, yes, as you might have gathered, guys, from the last live stream, Sam is now a Fantasy Football Scout Pro Pundit. So if you're not familiar with Fantasy Football Scout, and I'd imagine most of you guys are familiar with Fantasy Football Scout. But if you're not, head over to fantasyfootballscout.co.uk and check on the little pro pundits. And if you've seen on the website, you've got your own little menu. You drop down, then your name pops up.
No, it's very exciting.
Look at you, check you out. They wanted people with good overall ranks, didn't they? They wanted people that are up in the upper echelons let's say.
Is that why they didn't ask you?
That's exactly why they didn't ask me. Exactly why they didn't ask me. So listen, Sam is in the Pro Pundits, guys, for the Fantasy Football Scout website. So if you've not checked that out yet, definitely go and check that out. She wrote an article, what was it, middle of last week? Talking about how you plan to break into the top 10k with a picture, no less, of Jamie Vardy.
I mean, he came off.
So he absolutely come off. So there we go. There's yet another reason, guys, why you should be following Sam on Instagram at FPL Family, and another reason why you should be checking out Sam's Pro Pundits articles on Fantasy Football Scout. Calling Jamie Vardy out right there. Tell me you pick the picture, or does the picture get picked by David?
I mean, David picked the picture, but it does go with the article.
No, the picture's got nothing to do with Sam whatsoever.
Thanks, David, for
David
making
Monday
me
to
look
thank
good.
you for that. Absolutely, David Monday.
Actually, to be fair, I think it was Neil actually that did the editing on that bit.
Very good.
So let's give credit to Neil as well.
But not you. You didn't pick the picture.
I did not pick the picture. I did, however, pick the stats table for all of those that questioned whether I actually read the XG stats. I did.
Excellent, excellent. All right, so some credibility coming from my last 5 minutes of waffle about you being a pro pundit.
My whole article.
Excellent. Yeah. Excellent. And did you break into the top 10k?
No.
Excellent. Right,
Jamie Vardy did try.
Jamie Vardy did his best, didn't he? Did his best. We should also mention, guys, that we've topped 3k now on Instagram. 3k.
Yeah,
so thank you, guys. If you're over on Instagram and you're following Sam at FPL Family on Instagram, thank you very much for doing that. And if you're not, head over to Instagram.com/FPL Family. Where are the links?
In the description below.
In the description below. Check it out down there once we finish with the stream, and go and follow Sam over there. And the questions for the polls, guys, tonight come from the lovely Instagram followers. So thank you, guys, for sending in questions earlier.
There were some great ones over there today.
Some really good questions. Really good questions.
To pick a few.
But we have 4. We have picked 4. So if you've not answered our polls before, go check out the little white eye above my head. Click on that, and the 4 questions will come down the right-hand side. The first question comes from Mohammed Zaid. He says, which is the team to triple up on now? So if you're going to triple up on one of these, who would you triple up on?
I'm on the wrong one.
Leicester, Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea or Wolves. So if you were going to triple up on one of those, I'm not sure you'd triple up on Wolves.
I'm on the wrong one.
Not sure about that. But if you're going to triple up, where would you triple up? Which one of those teams? Next question comes from McAteer64. Thank you for the question. He says, who is the best Chelsea attacker to have? And I like the fact that we have this question now, because we were all going into this game week with, Abraham's a very popular pick, right? But there was a bit of argument as to whether you'd have Mount or Callum Hudson-Odoi. Then he benches Callum Hudson-Odoi, and I think the statements that I've seen from Frank Lampard suggest that he was probably just needed a bit of a rest. He's 18, the kid. You've got to remember, he's 18, this kid. And then he brings in Pulisic in that position, who has an absolute stormer and gets his first hat-trick for Chelsea, his first goals for Chelsea, and a hat-trick, away at Turf Moor, no less, which is a very, very difficult place to go. So Pulisic now absolutely on the radar. So who's the best Chelsea attacker to have? McAteer64 asks, is it Mount, Abraham, Hudson-Odoi, Pulisic or Willian? So get over and answer that question. Third question comes from Harry Clark 14. Harry, thank you for the question. He says, which is the best midfielder below 6.5 million? Would you go Tielemans, McGinn, Grealish, Harvey Barnes, or again Callum Hudson-Odoi, also in that bracket, of course. So which is the best midfielder to have below 6.5? And then Andrew Yee, thank you for the question, Andrew, on Instagram. It's also one of our patrons, so thank you, Andrew, for the question. What to do with Sergio Aguero? Buy, sell, or hold? Again, the Pep roulette absolutely killed you, Aguero owners. And if you're an Aguero captainer, how do you feel this weekend? Gutted, I'd imagine.
Well, I mean, if you've watched last week's episode of FYI, shout out to last week's episode of FYI, I had a big conversation about this, and I said, and I quote, I will never own Aguero.
The Aguero captainers don't want to hear, I told you so, Sam. They need a little bit of comfort.
In this poll question, buy, sell, hold, if anyone votes buy, I need to know who it was and why.
But he's had his rest now, and it's Southampton who've just been absolutely smashed at the Etihad next.
But as I said on FYI, then, okay, so he plays against Southampton, and then as soon as the Southampton game ends, you think, gosh, is he going to play in game week 12? Like, I can't be dealing with it all the time.
All right.
It's too much.
It's too stressful.
It's too much.
FPL's too stressful.
It's hard enough being a Spurs fan without adding Aguero into the mix as well.
So, guys, thank you for the questions. Get into the little white eye, and we will answer those at the end of the show. There's our Twitter on the left-hand side, at FPL Family. We've already mentioned the Instagram, at FPL Family. Over 3k on there, so thank you for following us there. Twitter's just gone over 21, by the way.
Ooh,
21. So, yes, looking really good. So, guys, if you're following us over there, thank you very much. Let's say hello to a few people now. I think I think I saw a super chat a little while back, and I think it snuck through. Here it is. From our friend Azzy. Thank you, Azzy. Ready for the Rugby World Cup final, FPL family. He says, you're absolutely right, Azzy. We are not going to talk too much about rugby on this show, but what I will say is England were fantastic on Saturday morning. Absolutely fantastic to beat the All Blacks.
I don't really like rugby, but I really enjoyed that game.
We are not rugby fans, Azzy, in this house, but I tell you what, I've flipping enjoyed that game. And of the bringing it back to football a little bit, what I have enjoyed about the little rugby that I've watched in Japan is that their technology works absolutely brilliantly. Doesn't it? I'm going to get on my high VAR horse again now, but the rugby technology...
They're like Hawkeye, what is it called?
It is bloody brilliant. The TMO and because it's all black and white. In rugby, it's the rules. That's what it is, guys. It comes down to the rules. In football, it's all interpretation. In rugby, it's like, is it a foul? Not a foul. Is he offside? It's black and white.
I also like
so the video ref gets it right every single time.
I also like the fact that the ref stands there with his little mic on.
You can hear what's going on.
Nobody interferes with him.
Absolutely.
And if they do, he goes, go away. And he stands there and he talks to his mate, the assistant. And then we know what's going on. Why don't we have that in football?
Absolutely. Well, listen.
Premier League, please.
VAR in the Premier League has got a long way to go. But what I will say is I agree with Azzy. The technology in rugby is spot on. Absolutely spot on. And we're very much looking forward to England versus South Africa in the Rugby Cup final this time next week. Should be really good. It's a shame it wasn't Wales. But listen, Wales have beaten England a couple of times this year. So actually, I think maybe South Africa is the better option. But listen, enough. That's the wrong shaped ball. It's the wrong shaped ball, Sam. So we've got to move on. Let's say hello to a few people. Aaron Chen is in. How are we doing, Aaron? Very nice to see you. Josh is in and moderating. FPL Telling. How are you doing? Ben Holland is here. How are you doing? Video ref got the second England try that was disallowed wrong, though. Okay, well, listen. We could have a whole conversation, Ben, about what's going on in rugby and technology and football and technology, but we are not here. We're not here for the Rugby World Cup as much as we enjoyed it. Liam Healy is here. How are we doing, Liam? Evening, Lee and Sam had the best birthday weekend. Happy birthday, Liam. Happy birthday. FPL Schwartz is here. Martin, how are you doing? Good evening. Neil Crasting is here. He says, good evening, FPL family. Cannot wait for the Rugby World Cup final. Go the Poms. Go South Africa. Very good. Neil, very good. Arnesh is here. Hello, he says. Arnesh Mishra. Hello. Welcome and thank you for joining. El Pipe is here. I think that's how you say your name. El Pipe. Another lucky Liverpool win, he says. Hey, Sam. Yeah. That's what El Pipe is saying. Matt Elsie is here. How are you doing, Matt? FPL Addict is in. Optimus Prema is back for another live stream. Thank you, Optimus, for joining us. Brian Stwally is here. FPL Flynn is here. 400 people watching, he says, with the little party explosion. Yeah, 406.
We've got more.
To be precise. So thank you for joining us, guys.
His party recently.
That is 405 more people than is at the Pukki party. The one remaining person is Muggins here. And I tell you what, I need to get out of that party like you wouldn't believe. I'm sitting in the corner. The music's gone off. The lights are turned off. And I'm
Pukki's gone to bed.
Pukki's left his own party. He's left his own party. Even Cantwell's left the Pukki party. It's just me on my bloody own, and I need a route out. But as I will discuss later on during the Norwich analysis, what? I'm so annoyed about being at this party. It was over 5 weeks ago, and I'm still there. It's an insight into my youth here, guys. Always last at the party. But Josh is saying I still own Pukki. Well, Josh, I want to hear what you're going to say because just as I was coming on to this stream, I was thinking, if I'm going to be so emotional about Pukki, I need to talk to you guys about how I'm going to get off of Pukki. It's really hard. If you look below Pukki's price, it's complete guff.
There's only one party to go to.
And if you want to go up to somewhere like VARDY, I need a lot of money. It's very hard to get off of Pukki right now.
Oh, no.
And if I look at where... you don't give a... I was going to swear then. I was going to swear. You don't care, do you? Yeah, all right,
I do care.
Michael Glover, I am Pukki. I am sad, he says. I am sad. I still own Pukki, Aaron Chen says. There's at least 4 of us at the Pukki party.
Right, so there's 4 of you at the Pukki party then.
Tendai Horton, thank you for joining, Tendai. He says, Lee, you're that drunk dude that passes out on the sofa and the party's already done. You're absolutely right. 100%. There's me looking for something from Pukki today. Even when they got their consolation, you said, oh, Norwich have scored. I was like, you went, no. Hernandez.
He was on the pitch still, I think.
Very good. Right, we need to put the Pukki party to one side. We've said hello to everybody. There's our Twitter, as I mentioned before, on the left-hand side, at FPL Family. Thank you to all of our 21,000 followers that follow us over on Twitter. Let's get on with these games. And I think we have to start on Friday, don't we? I mean, it's the game everyone is talking about. It's caused so much FPL angst, so much FPL joy on Friday night. Southampton 0, Leicester 9. Where do we even start with that? I mean, Perez hat-trick.
Where's that come from?
Maybe just a quick word for him, because absolutely not everyone's, but a lot of people gambled on him game week 1,
He's
thinking
10 weeks late.
he's out of position, etc., etc. He's 6.5. I think he might even be down to 6 now. Maybe 6 might have gone back up to 6.1. I don't know. But Perez maybe at 6 million now. Option or not, or do we need to see more against a team that can actually defend rather than the Saints at the weekend? What do you think?
Yeah.
And also just the Leicester assets in totality. I mean, you're on VARDY, you've got Soyuncu
on the bench.
Sadly, yeah. But I mean, what are we now thinking about Leicester? The fixtures continue to be good for some weeks, right?
They do. I think we have to just. It's very easy, I think, when you get a 9-0 win to get carried away with let's go all out Leicester everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm sort of on board with the go all out Leicester everywhere thing, but I'm anxious about the Perez thing. We've not seen anything from Perez for 9 weeks that would make me think that this is going to become a regular thing. You've got to remember they're playing against a 10-man poor Southampton team in what can only be described as the end of the world weather.
It was torrential conditions, wasn't it?
Yeah. So for me, I would be wanting to see Perez do that again against a better side in a better conditions.
So if not Perez then, excuse me, what about someone that went a bit under the radar in that game because he didn't get on the score sheet but did get 2 assists? Harvey Barnes, I thought, had a very, very nice game at 5.9 million.
Do you know what I really liked about him that game? His face when he knew he was coming off.
Yeah, because he hadn't got the goal, hadn't he?
Yeah.
And then Rodgers brings him off, and they're like, I don't know, 7-0 up.
Yeah.
And he looks disappointed.
He's annoyed.
I like to see that.
Yeah, I do too.
I like to see that.
And I think
absolutely.
when you're a youngster like he is, sound like really a woman then, didn't I?
All these youngsters.
All these young boys these days. Yeah, I think when you're a kid like that and you're playing in a team that is on such a rampant streak as they were on Friday evening, it's really encouraging to see him feel that way about being taken off. I thought he was absolutely fantastic. I also thought Tielemans was absolutely brilliant in that game.
Yes, absolutely. Mahbub Khan is actually saying, Tielemans passed the eye test massively. And with Maddison playing much deeper, Mahbub Khan saying, and I totally agree with that. As a Maddison owner, I have to say that made for difficult viewing that game on Friday night.
Stressed.
Because every time Leicester won the ball in high up positions, which was frankly all the time, because Saints were losing it in ridiculous positions, the ones that would go is obviously Vardy's going, if not gone already. Barnes, Perez, and actually Tielemans. It was Vardy, Barnes, and Perez with a pace, and Tielemans sort of like pushing them forward. Maddison was sitting, and that was so frustrating as a Maddison owner because every time they bombed forward and they looked like scoring, they did score.
Yeah.
Maddison wasn't really in and around the mix, so I put a tweet out there saying, this is frustrating. I'm basically just waiting for a free kick. And in the end, that's exactly what happened. We got the free kick. And when he lined that up, I was just like, he's going to score this.
Yeah.
100% going to score this. And actually, there's Angus Gunn. Maybe could have saved it, actually. It wasn't that great goalkeeping, to be honest. But I was just relieved to have something from that game as a Maddison owner in the end. I got the 8 points, which I was very pleased about.
But he did
missed out on all these other attacking assets that were bombing in the box.
He did look better when the substitutions happened, though. He went more free-flowing towards that last sort of 10 minutes of the game. He was up there
when Barnes came off and when Perez came off, Maddison did commit a bit further forward.
He was more further forward. But I think if I was Brendan Rodgers looking at the team that played on Friday evening, it would be very, very difficult to leave Perez and Harvey Barnes out of the starting lineup for game week 11. And therefore, what does that mean for Maddison in terms of his positional play on the pitch? My suggestion is that he plays deeper and it's all about the free kicks again.
Okay, very good. Neil Crassin, lovely little comment from Neil. Thank you, Neil, for joining us. Maddison's on set pieces, we know. Will do well at Palace, who are defensively stronger at home. Palace conceded on corners today. So that's a nice little comment there from Neil. So we haven't watched the Man U game, have we? Or obviously the highlights, because we're obviously watching Liverpool and Spurs.
The Arsenal game.
The Arsenal game. Palace were playing Arsenal, of course. Yeah, thank you. So haven't seen the Arsenal and Palace game except for Xhaka and his nonsense when being substituted, which we will come to in a little while.
How is he the captain?
Yeah, I know. So listen, you could be. I think nearly spot on there. So as a Maddison owner, I have to say I've got other things I need to sort out in my team. Pukki. Got other things I need to sort out in my team, and Otamendi actually needs sorting out. So I think Maddison's going to get a reprieve. He's not top of my to-do list right now, Maddison. And I think given they've got Palace at home, Palace are defensively, despite letting in a couple of goals against Arsenal today, defensively have looked pretty solid. So I don't think it's not going to be 9-0 again, is it? I can't see Vardy getting a lot of space in behind. Those guys all bombing into the box like that. I think Palace will obviously put up, you'd think, a sterner test
You'd hope
than
so.
Southampton did on Friday, frankly. So anyway, all of those guys now are good options, I think. Maddison, I think you stick with. I don't think he's a buy, but he's probably a stick. VARDY is absolutely a keep right now and looking fantastic value at 9.2. Went up again last night, obviously.
Legend.
And if you want to have a little bit more of a punt on somebody a bit cheaper, like Tielemans or Harvey Barnes in particular at 5.9, I thought looked really good. Like you say, body language when he bought off was
really
was
liked
interesting.
both of them.
Really
I would really like to have them both.
But Perez for me, let's see some consistency, I think.
Agreed.
Yeah? All right. Less said about Southampton, the better.
I don't think there's anything to say about them.
Except for Rambo and his Danny Ings, but we shall move on. Let's have a quick chat about the Man City versus Villa game then, which actually, given that we went out for your birthday on Saturday, we would give the kids to the grandparents looked after the kids for Saturday.
Thanks, Mum and Dad.
We went out into London and we watched Man City versus Villa. And without all sort of the kids running around and stuff, we actually sat and watched the game. I feel like I know quite a lot about the game because I sat and actually watched it properly.
A really nice pub as well, wasn't it?
Lovely pub, very nice. Sat there with a couple of hop house beers. It was
and some
lovely,
nachos.
lovely afternoon. Some nachos, very, very nice
Happy
indeed.
days.
City 3, Aston Villa 0. I thought Aston Villa actually in the first half played very, very well, and then just didn't switch on for that first 20 seconds to allow Sterling in for that goal in the second half. I don't want to talk for too long about the De Bruyne thing. We're both a bit annoyed about that, given that we both captained
a bit
Kevin
annoyed.
De Bruyne.
I'm absolutely livid.
Yes, I am. And I think if
I am
you're
absolutely raging about that.
if you're a Kevin De Bruyne captain, get in the live comments how you feeling about this decision. It wasn't actually changed until after the game when the goals panel, or whatever they're called in the Premier League, decided that they were going to give the goal to David Silva. Now, I must admit, when we're watching the replays in slow motion in the pub on a nice big HD screen, I thought Silva did get a touch. I thought he got a touch. And to that end, I can't moan about it too much because I think he does get a touch.
No. The point is that if he touches it, it is not a goal at all in the first place because it gets ruled up by VAR. That's the point. So,
I see what you're saying. Because Sterling's offside if Silva touches it.
So I'm so fuming about this. So it can't be a Silva goal on reflection because if it is, it's not a damn goal at all.
But it's too late. They've already given the goal and played the game.
Why are they even looking at it then?
Yeah, mate, it literally makes no difference to the game.
It doesn't matter. They've looked at it for like 20 minutes, it felt like, in the pub.
It's almost like after the game, whoever leads that panel has gone, I don't know, Sterling captain or David Silva captain, or has got Silva in their FPL team.
I'm utterly furious.
It was disappointing, guys, to say the least, because that is
I'm never furious about FPL, but this is really right.
3-point swing, 6 points as captain.
That's
it's
a green arrow.
Difference between a green and a red arrow. For you this week, that is a difference between a green and a red arrow. So very, very upset over here on my right. You're absolutely right. For the rest of the game, though, Sterling looking in imperious form right now. Looks good for club and country.
It's Benjamin Mendy for you.
So Benjamin Mendy coming in. We've said it quite recently. You guys have been saying it in the live chat on Twitter. When Mendy comes in, he provides the width. Sterling, therefore, doesn't. Sterling gets far more central and gets into these nicer positions. I have to say, probably one of the best games I've seen Sterling play this season. And for those of you that stuck with him throughout the captaincy blanks over the last few game weeks, I was kicking myself really because I was going into this game week, and had I been able to say with confidence that I knew Sterling was going to play that game or start that game, I'd have captained him for sure. But he just played 90 minutes. He played 90 minutes in the Champions League, and I just thought that Pep might rotate him and might not play him. I don't know why I thought that, but I just thought that might happen, and because of that, I decided to go KDB captain. But Sterling comes in with the 11 points, gets the goal, 3 bonus points as well. Really nice performance. You don't have Sterling right now. Is the thought of him up against Jan Valery next weekend a bit of a scary one for you? Because for me, that's a mouth-watering encounter and one that I think I'll be captaining Sterling for.
Will he play?
Good question. Yeah, good question. They have a League Cup game in midweek. Yep. I'm not expecting Sterling to play in that League Cup game. I'd be amazed if he plays in that League Cup game. And on that basis, therefore, plays against Southampton. If it's a Champions League, he plays. League Cup, surely not. Surely not. Maybe.
It's Pep. Who knows?
I know. So the question I'm asking you, therefore, is...
Do I want Sterling?
Do you want Sterling? Or are you happy with that KDB armband option every time City play at home? What's your thoughts?
I think I'm happy. I'm happy with the KDB captaincy option. Yes, that I am happy with that. That's fine. Am I? I did say to you, didn't I, when we left the pub on Saturday? It was the first time that I felt that it might be time to board the Sterling train
Yeah.
at the end of Saturday's game.
Not easy to get in, though. It means a bit of surgery, doesn't it, really?
No, it doesn't, because I just have to lose Kane. But how?
Right.
And this will probably lead us to where we go next. But
Okay.
how do you lose Kane now he started scoring again?
Okay.
So it's a tough one. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know what I'm going to do about it.
Josh is saying Kane to Sterling, Sam. You know you want to?
Josh, you know I don't want to do that. Yeah, it might happen, but I don't think it will happen yet.
Okay, Charlie Pliner. Thank you, Charlie, for the call, for the live chat. He is saying the cup game is also versus Southampton. I'd missed that. So they've got to base Southampton back-to-back in the cup and then in the league.
Poor old Southampton, they'll be on their knees.
Never you mind poor old Southampton. They were absolutely rubbish at the weekend. What about a word for Mr. David De Silva? We mentioned this time, not David De Silva, David Silva. Who's David De Silva?
I don't know.
It's like his weird cousin with a weird moustache and some ridiculous glasses. David De Silva.
That's what he goes by when he wants to be unnoticed.
Forget it. So David Silva, another 9-pointer for him. We talked last week about the fact he's got 4 double-digit hauls, more than anybody else in the league right now.
It's nearly 5.
Backed it up with another 9-pointer. Should we be considering him?
Yes, we should, but no, I don't know. I can't bear this whole Pep nonsense, and I know that at some stage I'm just going to have to pick another one and get on with it, but it's so hard to know which one to pick.
So give me a view then on the City defence. Otamendi. We both own Otamendi. What's your plan? Is Otamendi to Mendy an option?
Yeah, my plan was Otamendi to Robertson.
Okay.
And double up Liverpool defence. But I don't think you look that convincing in defence today, so that's maybe a bit wary. Otamendi to Mendy feels quite nice, but
got to find 0.5 million to do it.
Yeah, I mean that's not that hard. I can find a bit of money. That's not an issue. But
do you think you saw enough of Mendy offensively? To suggest that he's worth his 5.9? Because I don't see Man City keeping that many clean sheets, if I'm honest with you. So therefore, you kind of back in a Mendy assist or a goal. Now, he did get in a couple of nice positions. He did have one shot that just whistled past the far post.
And if KDB kept his goal, he would have had an assist.
And actually, yeah, if the KDB gate hadn't happened,
the rage was built
Mendy
again.
gets the assist and 2 bonus points, and therefore gets like an 8 or 9 pointer. So on another day, Mendy is actually on the radar. But is he on your radar? I think the answer is yes, he's on the radar, right? But we're not quite sure how we're going to get to him right now from Otamendi.
Yeah, I think he's got to be on the radar, and I think if you own Mendy, if you own Sterling, then owning Mendy as well feels quite nice because they do play nicely together. Yeah, I think he's definitely on the radar. Is the short answer to that question.
The other thing to say is that I think Jesus was in really, really nice form. I mean, I know the Aguero captains, the Aguero owners will be maybe a bit upset about me saying this, but Jesus looked really, really good, and Pep's comments about him being his best pressing forward in that side. Absolutely, I saw. We saw that at the weekend. Only got the assist at the weekend, but on another day, could have had more. Jesus, as a McGinn owner, haven't seen much of McGinn for the last few weeks.
Apart from in that last second of the game when it was banged off the post.
If McGinn had got that 93rd minute consolation goal, that would have been so Sam FPL Family. It would have been unreal.
I was up, wasn't I?
You were up and celebrating.
I was off.
People in the pub were just like, "Why is that woman over there celebrating a McGinn?"
To us.
Why are you celebrating a McGinn consolation? It's just like
they'd be like, "Oh, it's Sam from FPL Family."
Even if you were a Villa fan, you'd be like, "Why are you celebrating that? You're 3-0 down."
They'd have gone, she must have a fantasy team. I wonder what her handle is.
Panicking about McGinn? Yes, no? No, okay.
I mean, he was on my list when I was writing a list of transfer thoughts. I did, for the first time ever, write McGinn.
McGinn out on the list.
And then I thought I might cry and...
It felt so wrong.
It felt so wrong.
Come on then. FPL Family Derby, Liverpool 2, Spurs 1. What are we saying? What are you saying?
Gasinga's a legend. Gazaniga.
Okay, so here's my view of the game. So I thought Liverpool came out looking really good for the first 40 seconds. So actually, we were winning. We won the ball a couple of times in midfield. Henderson found a bit of space. Mane actually could have got through if it wasn't for a bit of a miscontrol. So I'm sitting there thinking, this is already starting to look quite good, this. Because Spurs were sort of pressing a little bit and we were getting the better of you in midfield for that 40 seconds.
40 seconds.
And then Trent lets Son go. He lets Son have a shot. And if there's one player in the league you don't let have a shot, it's Heung-min Son. Lovren does this weird thing where he puts his hands behind his back and sort of apologetically moves his head towards the ball, deflects it onto the bar. Had Lovren just missed that, I think Alisson probably fields it without, it might have given him a bit of an issue, but you'd expect the save. Sort of comes off his head, and then it comes off the post. Van Dijk has completely lost. He's got no idea where Kane is. Van Dijk, no idea, and he doesn't react. What I loved about Kane's goal was that he thought, if this comes off the post, I'm getting there for that. And actually, Van Dijk was just like, I don't know where he is. And Kane just nicked him for a header, and it was 1-0 before you knew it.
It was his aerodynamic new hairdo.
And it was, to be honest, it was absolutely, obviously, the worst start from a Liverpool perspective. But then I thought, well, listen, you've scored after 40 seconds. We've got plenty of time to get back into this game. And what proceeded then in the first half, at least, was actually just a backs-to-the-wall job. Liverpool completely dominated for 44 minutes. Save after save from Gazzaniga, you're absolutely right. Played an absolute blinder. Liverpool creating chance after chance, with Trent being very creative as usual on that side. Mane missed a chance, I think, first half that he maybe could have had.
Yeah.
Salah looked a little bit ineffective, but nevertheless, at half time, I'm kind of wondering how we're 1-0 down. And then the second half kicks off, and it's sort of getting into that pattern again with Spurs sitting and Liverpool attacking. Maybe not quite with so much va-va-voom as we were in the first half. And then Son, again from a, was it a Lovren mistake or a Trent mistake? But some mistake at the back. Son rounds the keeper, hits the underside of the bar, and at 2-0, that's game over in my opinion.
I don't know how we missed it.
I think that's game over if Son hits that.
I don't know how we missed that.
Absolutely incredible miss. And then the rest is history, right? We go on and we win 2-1. There is no better player in the world at Mane than sticking his leg in somewhere to get a penalty. If you look at the replays on that goal, guys, he's not going for the ball. Mane is not interested in the ball. He knows
he's going the wrong way away from goal.
He knows that Aurier is going to try and take a swipe, because Aurier is not a good defender. And Mane just sticks his leg there and says, right, you kick me. And he kicked him, goes down. It's got to be a penalty.
It's a penalty.
It's got to be a penalty. So I sort of feel like, I don't know whether I feel like Liverpool were lucky in that game, but at the same time, it could have been very... If that Son goal goes in and it's 2-0 Spurs, I think we're dead and buried, because you just literally back it up and then we're done, aren't we? But so there's my take on the game. I thought we were a bit lucky where that Son shot comes from the underside of the bar. A bit lucky there. But overall, I feel like we dominated, and I feel like Gazzaniga getting 3 bonus points pretty much tells you everything you need to know about that game. We had chance after chance after chance, and probably should have had a lot more. So there's my footballing view of the game. From an FPL perspective, how are you now feeling about Kane and Salah? Because those were the two that were potentially, at the beginning of this game week, I remember you saying, I need something from these guys if I'm going to keep them in my team.
They both did it.
And you got something from the game from both of them. So how are you feeling now?
I'm feeling like I can't get rid of Kane, is my honest feeling.
Okay.
I just feel like, having come off the back of 2 goals in midweek in the Champions League, and then a goal again against Liverpool this weekend.
He's ticking over though, so is that enough at 11 million to tick over?
Well,
do you need a bit more?
Okay. I think, I'm looking at Everton next and thinking, well, you can get at Everton defensively.
You can right now, yes.
So I'm not overly concerned about that. And then we've got Sheffield United at home the following game after that. So I'm looking at those next 2 games and thinking, I think there's goals in that for Kane. There's potential there, and I kind of feel like that we will take there'll be a lot of heart from that game. We played well. I know we didn't play the Spurs way. We went and we defended well. I mean, we never defend well. So I kept saying to you that, didn't I? It won't last. Actually, we did do well. The midfield did well. And I feel like Spurs will take a lot of confidence from that result on the back of the Champions League result. So for me, no, I can't lose Kane right now. In terms of Salah,
how do you feel about Salah?
Salah's a concern, isn't he? I mean, this injury to his ankle, before kickoff today and even from yesterday, I wasn't anticipating there being any issue with him. Then we hear that, he wasn't pictured in training rumours. And then, and then it comes back up again yesterday and then again today about Salah not playing. And I was thinking...
Did you see Klopp's comments after the game, what he was saying about the ankle? He was kind of saying that the more the game went on, and because it was a high-intensity game, I think Salah was just kind of feeling his ankle. It was getting achy and it was getting weaker. And of course, as you get through the game, and I think Salah went off on something like between 75 and 85 minutes, somewhere towards the end of the game. If you keep playing on that and the ankle's looking weaker, all it's going to take is for a little lapse of concentration, or for, I don't know, Aurier or somebody to come in from left field and just swipe it. And then he's done ligaments and stuff. So I think he brought him off as a bit of a precaution. But at the same time, I would be a bit concerned as a Salah owner that Klopp and Salah are having to manage this injury now. So I'm absolutely not expecting him to play in the League Cup game in the week, not expecting that at all. Do I think he's going to play in the next league game? I do, but I'm a bit concerned now that there's this injury in the background that they're managing. So how are you feeling? Because he's obviously still the most expensive asset in the game, and you're thinking about maybe getting on Sterling. So is Salah to Sterling on for you?
No, because I don't want to not have a Liverpool attacker.
Okay.
So if I'm going to lose Salah, it'll be for Mane. I'm not going to go without a Liverpool attacker. I feel like that's suicide in the game at the moment.
Okay.
I do worry about Salah though. I worry about the minutes there. You know, I didn't see a lot from him today. Like I went into that game wanting to see something from him.
Yeah.
And apart from a penalty, I didn't see very much from him. I saw some wasteful opportunities where he wasn't looking like the Salah that I would expect for that much money. So it does then lead you to question whether it's worth it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see what you guys are saying in the live chat about Salah and Kane. A super chat from Another Hoops. Thank you, Another Hoops, for the super chat. Hello, he says, is Firmino an option for Jimenez or Tammy? I think if you've got the money to go up to Firmino, Another Hoops, then yeah, why not? I mean, from my perspective, Firmino looked okay today, but then Firmino relishes in that, finding those little pockets of space in behind the defence. He relishes in moving those defenders around.
He was annoyed today, Firmino. You could see that.
Yeah, but he's what he's really good at is where the defensive line is and the midfield line is. He gets in those pockets, and the other two go around the outside, and Robbo and Trent go around the outside, and he just threads those balls through, and he's the little creator in between the lines. Now, Spurs' lines weren't like that today. They were like that, because he was so ultra defensive for a lot of the game. So there was no space for Firmino to operate in. Now, I don't think we're going to come up against teams like that that play that style a lot this season. But for me, that's why Firmino was ineffective today. So do I think he's a good asset? Yes, I do still think he is. In FPL, I'm not sure he's quite worth the money yet still, especially when you've got to have a Jamie Vardy right now by the looks of things.
I don't think I want to lose Tammy for him either.
And I don't think you'd want to lose Tammy either, even though we've had a couple of blanks-ish from Tammy, and I know he got the assist at the weekend or whatever. But for me, no reason why you shouldn't go for Firmino, but not on today's performance, because there wasn't that space to work in between the lines.
Do you feel like Firmino's gone back into this streaky phase? Like he went through that phase at the beginning, and it was a longer phase than normal, and I was saying, well, maybe he's not a streaky player anymore, maybe it's going to be consistent, but I feel like that's tapered a bit lately, and maybe it'll come back around. And maybe it will be Firmino for Christmas again. Yeah,
maybe. Another super chat from Azzy. Trent is a Liverpool attacker. Though Sammy says, well, yes, you're absolutely right, Azzy. I mean, he looks the most likely source of an assist today, Trent. Again, despite only 1 point, and that being disappointing for his FPL owners, I don't think you want to move Trent anywhere. He's on obviously free kicks and corners, and set piece taking wasn't great today, delivery wise. He didn't beat the first man a few times, but I don't think you need to knee-jerk him out on the basis of today. He still looked very, very creative. I
just don't feel like just owning Trent is enough in terms of that Liverpool. They're going to win the league. I don't feel like just having Trent is enough.
Well, let's have a look at Liverpool's fixtures going forward. It's Villa away next, which is a defence that they can get at. Then it's obviously the big game against Man City at Anfield. Palace away, Brighton at home, Everton at home. So the fixtures do look nice for Liverpool, despite that game week 12. And if you've got Man City assets in your team, I'd love to know in the live chat and in the comments below, guys, what you're doing about game week 12, Liverpool versus City at Anfield. I'm currently looking at going into that game with 5 assets. 5 assets. I've got Trent, Mane, Sterling, KDB and Otamendi. Now, I'm pretty sure Otamendi's going to be gone by the end of maybe this week, maybe not next. If not next. But then I'm still thinking about 4 players in that game week 12 game, and that worries me a little bit, guys.
I'd only have 3, which would feel a bit better.
Yeah, but outside of that, the Liverpool fixtures don't look too bad. So, yeah, Trent and Firmino, if you've got them, I think stick with them. Let's talk about some other games that we saw this weekend. Burnley 2, Chelsea 4. Now, I'm running out of superlatives to talk about this Chelsea team. Looking fantastic. I mean, going away to Burnley is not an easy game. That is a difficult game at Turf Moor, and it was wet and it was horrible. And on another day, and other seasons, Chelsea would have struggled in that game. But Frank has softly approached with Pulisic, taking him out of the team, maybe giving him a bit of time to just adapt to the club and feel settled, put his arm around him and said, right, here's your chance. Go and prove that you should be in this team. And goodness me, a hat-trick and some very, very nice goals from Captain America there. What are we saying about Chelsea now? And how do you feel as a Hudson-Odoi owner knowing that Pulisic has come in and done that well?
Frank and me aren't friends anymore.
That's it, you're gone.
We're not friends anymore. Tamori and I aren't friends anymore. that game couldn't have gone much worse for me. Tomori kept his clean sheet up until Alonso goes off, keeps his clean sheet, and literally not 30 seconds before Alonso was going to go off, I was like, wouldn't it be nice if we took Tomori off now? And then Chelsea conceded and Alonso lost his clean sheet. And what happened? Frank does the exact opposite of what I've asked him to do. So that annoyed me. I think in terms of Callum Hudson-Odoi, I never got Callum Hudson-Odoi expecting him to play 94 minutes every game week. So that in itself isn't an issue for me. The fact he was benched, I was a bit like, oh, that's annoying, but he'll come on and it'll be, we saw in the first 2 games that he played for Chelsea in the Premier League that when he comes on, he can still get attacking returns. So I wasn't overly concerned, and I think at the price tag he is, it's acceptable to not play 90 minutes every week.
Okay.
It's just irritating, particularly when Chelsea are on that good form, to own a player that's not part of that. And then it makes matters worse when he comes on and just gets booked.
I'll be very interested to see how he lines up next game, because there are some Chelsea fans out there that are saying, well, actually, if Pulisic can lock down that left-hand side and be the Hazard replacement that they were looking for, then Cho maybe competes with Willian for that right-hand side, because I think Cho can play there. He played there last season, and maybe it's a bit more natural there, even. Yeah. So I think actually Callum Hudson-Odoi could become this sort of player that can play left or central or right. But right now they've got Pulisic, Mount and Willian, and actually Willian played pretty well again today.
Yeah, he got a goal and an assist
yesterday. He played pretty well. So I kind of feel like you wouldn't take Willian out of that team right now, given that he's probably one of the more experienced players as well, frankly. Mount is still playing pretty well, and he's Frank's boy, we've said that before. Pulisic pops up with a hat-trick. So I'm kind of wondering where Cho kind of fits. And from that perspective, maybe he just sits on the bench as a really nice utility player that can come on and make an impact, or indeed rotate with any one of those 3 if they feel knackered or they need space or they need a bit of time to rest and recuperate.
I think it's for me, it's on one game. We've not seen much from Pulisic this season apart from this one game. Now, it'll be interesting to see what Frank decides to do now, because with the 3 goals that he scored against Burnley, Frank surely would be mad to take him out of the team now.
Well, even you've said before that Frank, if he sees something from a player, he'll stick with him, right?
Yeah, but that's why it's surprising that he took Callum out, given that he's been looking really good. So yeah. I don't know is the honest answer. I'm not going to knee-jerk him out on the basis that he didn't play in one game. Okay. Let's see.
Are we getting twitchy about Abraham? 7.8 million. So he's quite a lot of money in our squads. Difficult potentially to bring in now at 7.8. He got an assist this weekend. It's not to be sniffed at, but no goals now for a few weeks. Are we worried about Tammy or no?
I'm definitely watching him. Okay. Because I really, really, and I know that this is just a gut feeling, because everything that I saw today, and we can talk about them in a minute, doesn't suggest that there will be any reason to get on him. However, I really do fancy Jimenez. I need to find a way to manage that if that comes to fruition. So Tammy's spot is definitely on the chopping board for sure, because Vardy is not going anywhere. Okay,
let's see what you guys are saying. Azzy is saying Pulisic has been good in Europe. Yes, absolutely. Arnesh is saying Pulisic has been great off the bench recently. Shabab is saying Callum needed a rest, to be honest. Charlie Plinder, Tammy, hold-up player, has been brilliant. He can score at any moment. He's been a bit unlucky. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And Azzy is saying Lampard challenged Abraham to keep his levels or risk being dropped a few weeks ago. He needs to step up, Azzy is saying. Maybe Abraham needs to step up. To be honest with you, in that position, I don't see Giroud coming in. I really don't. But I don't know. Or Batshuayi, really. I don't know. Burnley, for their part in that game, got the 2 late goals. Maybe could have had more goals before that, actually. I thought Barnes in particular was pretty wasteful in front of goal. Looked a little bit off the pace. I think without Chris Wood, they just lacked a bit of va-va-voom up front. I don't know. I can't believe I've just said Chris Wood and va-va-voom in the same sentence, but they lacked a bit of bite, a bit of guile up there without Chris Wood, who was obviously in form. So obviously they're going to miss him. So sticking Barnes back there didn't quite work. Didn't quite work for the Clarets. I'm not sure. Where else to go? A couple of games to talk about. We didn't watch Arsenal 2, Crystal Palace 2, but Arsenal fans, particularly Arsenal Fan TV, very, very upset about throwing a 2-goal lead away at home to Crystal Palace, which of course they would be. Some nonsense about Xhaka coming off. I've seen some images on Twitter about him cupping his ear to the fans and, saying all sorts and not really giving Emery much of a high five when he came off. I don't know if we can't really talk too much about this game because we didn't watch it, but Arsenal's fixtures going forward, let's have a look. They are top of the ticker. Wolves, Leicester, Southampton, Norwich and Brighton. So there, as we mentioned a couple of weeks ago, the fixtures look great for Arsenal long term.
But Wolves and Leicester, they're tough games. Those first two, the ticker might say that they're not great, that they're great, but I don't fancy Arsenal against Wolves and Leicester.
So Optimus Premier is saying, who's the best choice, Aubameyang or Lacazette? How are you feeling about them two right now?
Lacazette.
Lacazette? He's hardly got anything since he's come back.
It's Lacazette over Right, for a start, don't go Arsenal attack is my honest view.
Okay.
But if you really want one, then the statistics suggest that it's Lacazette over Aubameyang when the two of them play together.
Okay, Neil Kager, can't trust Arsenal assets or the Emery roulette. Charlie Pliner, do not buy Arsenal players, he says in capital letters. Jerome Hughes says, Lacazette got an assist there. You're absolutely right, Jerome. I missed that one. Lacazette is better value for money at the moment. I agree with Sam JJ is saying. So
it's not just about the value though, is it? It's about the fact that you do. I mean, that is a big deal, the value, because there's a big difference between those two players. But the key for me is that when Lacazette is playing, Aubameyang's statistics drop off a cliff. Now, Lacazette's back and fit. You've got to suggesting from what we've seen so far that he wants to play the two of them together, so that will have an impact on Aubameyang. And what have we seen in the last 2 game weeks? 2 blanks.
Back out to the left, back out to the blanks. Yeah. What I would have liked to have seen today was something from Pepe actually to back up his goals from the other day. To just come in and get a goal or an assist today would have been like, right, okay, so now you can get on a bit of a run. But another blank for the £72 million man. So yeah, not all that well at Arsenal at the moment, I think it's fair to say. Another team with some reasonable fixtures coming up, Manchester United. Gone to Norwich and scored a few goals, so water's wet, grass is green. Norwich conceding a ton of goals again to a team like Manchester United, who aren't renowned right now for scoring a ton of goals, but they've got 3, could have had 5 because they missed 2 penalties. How do you feel about Rashford at $8.5 million or Martial coming back into your midfield? Are these two, if you were going to have your eye on 2 Man United players, given the fixtures look okay, are those the 2? Is there anybody else other than that?
I really worry about Martial in terms of injury, how injury prone he has become. I just feel like he's a bit in and out of the team. I don't feel confident enough to bring in Martial yet. Okay. Rashford, maybe, but I'm also looking around that top line thinking, well, I maybe feel a little bit more confident that in Abraham than I do in Rashford. I mean, okay, he's got a goal and a couple of bonus points today, but he's also missed a penalty. So let's see.
Supersport Gaming is saying Daniel James, Manahar, Daniel James. Jerome Hughes, Dan James got an assist today.
Got an assist. I don't know. I mean, I think much like we've just said about Leicester against Southampton, I think we have to kind of weigh this up against the fact that it is Norwich that they were playing, and Norwich can't defend. So you should see attacking returns from the Manchester United attackers in this game. If they can do it next week, then I think maybe it's something that we need to think about. But for me, I'm not on board.
All I want to know is who are Norwich playing next week, because Norwich concede for absolute fun right now. Brighton. So let's talk about the boy Connolly up front. Gets, frankly, let's not talk about VAR, but I mean the assist for the penalty, the Morpay penalty, is never in a million years a penalty given by VAR.
No.
But nevertheless, Connolly gets 8 points, 2 assists, goes off with a bit of a knock, so we need to have a look at that. But he is like cheap as chips in FPL. He's 4.5. If you were considering changing your formation a little bit and having that cheap third striker spot, he'd be the one, wouldn't he? Right now, he's getting game time and getting points.
Absolutely, yeah. I don't think there's a better third choice striker at the moment.
He's currently in my team, and I have to say, guys, very, very strongly not strongly consider him. He's in my bus team right now for at home to Norwich next week.
I'd really like to own that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Malpai
or Connolly for next week looks very, very good indeed.
Yeah.
Don't want to talk too much about Everton. I mean, goodness me, still cannot get that win on the road. The only other player I want to mention is Sergio Rico. I know he got booked in this game, but yet another clean sheet for Rico at 4 point whatever he is in the game. Cheap as chips again. And Watford, another stoic performance, another 0-0. They don't seem to be able to score any goals, but then after grinding out some 0-0s, they're just chipping away at the points.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
A blank for Callum Wilson. Should we have expected this 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, we should have.
When everyone was jumping on the Wilson bandwagon?
Yeah, that's why I didn't get on.
Just what he does, isn't it?
You can't trust him.
It's another one.
It's another one. He's like Pep. You just can't trust him.
I hate him as a player, I'll be honest. Oh,
Watford.
What was it? Five goals in five FPL returns in the first 5 games.
Yeah.
I was so tempted. I was like, just tempted.
He'll tell you.
And I just went, no, I'm not. You've done it to me 2 seasons in a row, Callum. In fact, last season you've done it to me twice on 2 separate occasions. This year, I'm not falling for it, Callum Wilson. I'm not falling for it.
But Watford did give Joe a nice birthday present this weekend with a draw.
Was it Joe's birthday this weekend?
21 today.
21 today, Mr. Joe Finley Badder. Happy birthday.
I don't know if he's in. I haven't seen him yet, but he'll watch.
He's not in. Joe, forget it.
He's supposed to be modding. Where is he? Come on, Joe.
It's his birthday. He's out. He's not
have the night off on your birthday.
He's not sitting here listening to our drivel and moderating.
Well, when he catches the replay, he'll find a nice little birthday shout out in the 42 seconds from Watford.
There we go. So that's the games, guys. So much going on. So much VAR nonsense. Tons of goals as well, right? 3-2, 9-0, 2-4, 2-2. Loads and loads of goals. As usual, not a lot of clean sheets knocking about. Unless you've got Sergio Rico or you've got Soyuncu off the bench, which is probably one of my jammier moves this season. Let's go into here and have a look at our... Should we do our teams or should we do the Patreon League first? Let's do the Patreon League first because I want to give a massive Patreon shout out to Kieran Screeton. Well done, Kieran. Kieran was very, very close to winning October's Manager of the Month. Sorry, September's Manager of the Month. And he missed out to Jason Ryan right in the last week. But Kieran has absolutely smashed it this month, and he is our FPL Family October Manager Month. So Kieran, congratulations! Come find us on Slack or DM me on Twitter.
I wonder if he's going to want to come and chat to us. I hope so. We haven't had one for ages that's wanted to come and talk to us.
I hope so. Yeah, and the guys that have won so far haven't been too keen to do the old video. But Kieran, if you are up for appearing on an FPL Family live stream, we would absolutely love to have you, mate. And you can be on next week if you're up for that. For those of you that are following us on patreon.com/FPL Family, you will know what Kieran wins. He wins a signed shirt or a signed street sign from kickingtheballs.com. If you want to go and check out the Kicking the Balls website, again, description's in the links below. Use the code FPLFamily10 for a 10% discount at kickingtheballs.com. But Kieran will get a choice of a signed shirt.
Whatever he would like.
Whatever he wants from the website. Whatever he wants. I hope it's something a bit different because we seem to have given away a lot of Liverpool memorabilia, and then last month it was Arsenal, wasn't it? So let's see what Kieran wants to have. But Kieran, get in touch with us, mate. You are the FPL Family October Manager Month. Not just the Manager Month, Sam, but absolutely smashed it.
Well done,
these
Kieran.
points really close to the screen as usual. 200 points. 200 points. And a shout out to... I don't know why I do this. It's always so small. Sorry. I'll move the mic here. Here we go. Shout out to Jamie Young, who got 167 points. Jeff Willis, 163. Tony Everson, 154. And Uche Obo with 153. So all of you guys done fantastically well.
He must have had a good game week.
Fantastically well. But Kieran Screeton is the FPL Family Manager Month for October.
Well done, Kieran.
Very, very good. So get in touch. We will sort out prizes and all that good stuff. For those of you that are not following us on Patreon, we'd love for you to go and check us out over there. And if you want to support us, we would, of course, love you to do that. $5 tier gets you into the Manager of the Month competition. You can unlock the post that will give you the code, the mini league code for November, which is going to start next game week. This Saturday is going to kick off. So if you want to go and join us on Patreon, you've got a week to do it. Go check it out. Patreon.com/FPL Family. Go check it out. If you want to support us, we'd love you to do that. Get the code. Get in the league. It's actually 4 game weeks this month.
Oh.
So in September and October, it was only 3, wasn't it? Because of international breaks, a bit shorter. But
I thought there was only 4 in November as well as an international break.
In November, there is 4 game weeks, as far as I'm aware. 4 game weeks.
There is an international break, though.
I'm sure there is, but there's also 4 game weeks.
Oh, okay.
So there we go. 4 game weeks in the November Manager Month. So get over there and check that out. Sam, this is your team from the FPL Family... What am I talking about? From FPL this game week. I was looking at it as I was trying to talk. It's ridiculous. 60 points. Are you pretty happy with that?
No, I'm really annoyed.
That's not too bad, is it?
No, I'm annoyed.
Okay, so talk us through your team.
I'm annoyed with a lot of them. I'm annoyed with myself for putting Soyuncu second sub. I spent too much time listening to Rambo on Wednesday.
See, I think people that have benched Soyuncu and not got his 6 points, you're being too hard on yourselves. Southampton away... The way that Danny Ings was informed, the way that they're playing, the way that they press high. That's a difficult game for Leicester.
The rationale for doing it was all right,
I think
but I'm annoyed with it. I'm more annoyed. I'm still really annoyed about Kevin De Bruyne, so let's not even talk about that. I feel like there was more opportunities in there. I feel like Callum Hudson-Odoi thing's really annoying because had he just stayed on the bench, that would have been... Anyway, it was just a bit... But I think also that's not helped by the fact that I feel a bit about... Spurs as well. So I think tomorrow I'll actually feel like that's a decent game week.
Neil Kagers in the live chat is saying, I'd give up a finger for 60 points, Sam. Stop whinging.
But it's a red arrow. And I think for me, it's not really the point score that makes me decide how I feel about it. It's about the arrow. And a 3k red arrow feels nasty.
Okay. All right. Well, down to 17k, which is frankly still flipping amazing. So I wouldn't be too worried about that. 60 points. Give us your very, very early game week 11. Here's what I'm thinking I might do. Thoughts?
Watching Salah, I think, is one of them.
Okay.
I've got 2 free transfers. I don't want to use them both. I don't feel like I need them both. Otamendi's also on the chopping block. Sadly, John McGinn's are sort of on the chopping block as well. But
John McGinn's one of your favourites from this season.
I don't think he'll go anywhere, just on the basis that I feel like I'm probably going to have an injury-related Salah problem to deal with, or a bigger Otamendi-related issue to deal with, and I don't want to use both. So
okay, all right. Well, 60 points. I think that's pretty good. I don't think you should be too worried about that. 60 points is not too bad. You've beaten me. I've got 58 points, which
but you've got a green arrow.
I'm pretty happy with that. Well, yeah, but I've gone from 233k to 229k, so it's.
You took my 3k.
So there's, I've got your 3k, so I'm up into 229k, which, as I always say, this season is a bonkers season. Who thought that Leicester were going to go to St Mary's and win 9-0 on a rainy Friday? Who thought that Kevin De Bruyne would have a goal chalked off after the game, even though they gave it to him in game? I mean, it's just.
Why have you brought it up again?
This season is just so weird and wonderful for so many different reasons. But 58 points, I think is okay. I think it's about average, maybe a little smidgen over average. So
average is 49.
I'm kind of, I'm sort of accepting that, to be honest with you. I don't feel like I've got. I feel like I've got a reasonably well-rounded performance. I've got Maddison coming in with 8, Mane, Mount and Abraham all got the 5 points from the assists, so I'm pretty happy with that.
Shame about Connolly on the bench.
Shame about Connolly on the bench, but listen, I bought Connolly on the basis that he's bench filler, so if I stick him on the bench, I can hardly moan, can I? Soyuncu's coming on off my bench for Otamendi, so there's 6 points additional that I wasn't expecting to get, which I'm happy with. McGovern didn't play, so Pope's going to come on for 1 as well. So overall, 58 points. Okay with that. I'm looking at my team thinking there's a couple of fires I want to put out there. Pukki needs to go, clearly. Otamendi is an issue. Although I did see that Fernandinho obviously got injured in that Man City game. Sent off, yeah, absolutely. So he's definitely not going to play against Southampton at home. Now, I kind of wonder whether Pep might not have any choice but to play Otamendi at the back there with John Stones, and maybe on that basis he might get a reprieve. I don't know, but in the long term, I don't really want Otamendi, and I don't want Pukki. Outside of that, I'm sort of okay with it. I'm happy with Sterling, De Bruyne, so I've got a nice captaincy choice through one of them for next week. Connolly's going to come on and play at home to Norwich.
Yeah.
Probably bench Pukki, to be honest with you.
Well, he'll be gone.
So yeah, so if I don't get rid of Pukki, he's going to sit on the bench. So 58 points, overranked 229k. It's a pretty average looking game week, but I'm sort of okay. I missed out on the Vardy haul. My captain got robbed. So given those two things went against me, I'm sort of okay on my 58 points. I don't feel too bad about it.
Fernandinho will only miss the cup in the week.
Oh, okay, so there's even more reason
to get rid of
to think about getting rid of Otamendi. You guys are absolutely spot on. Fernandinho banned for 1 game, and it's the League Cup game. So yes, could be back, and therefore Otamendi absolutely could be on the chopping block, guys. Could be out. So there we go, guys. That's it. 58 points. Pretty happy-ish with that. Just a roundup of some other bits and pieces. We are, of course, on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/FPL Family. If you want to go and check out our SoundCloud and subscribe over there, listen to us or listen back to us as a podcast at your leisure, you are more than welcome to check that out and go and doing that. Of course, links in the description below. And then this week, again, is a busy week, actually, for me, this week. I'm busy on FPL FYI with James and with Rambo on Wednesday of this week. Probably the video will come out on Thursday on the Premier League's YouTube channel. So if you're not subscribed to the Premier League's YouTube channel, suggest you go over there, hit subscribe, hit the little bell to get notified as well, and look out for me on FPL FYI next week, probably Thursday, and I shall be giving Rambo some absolute grief for his Danny Ings triple captain. And then I'll also be on the Fantasy Premier League pod on Thursday as well with Mr. James Richardson, so look forward to that, and that normally comes out very late Thursday night, if not Friday morning, so look out for me on there as well. That about wraps it up, Sam, unless I hasten to forget, because I almost forgot again, is the polls. So let's have a look at the polls.
I'd forgotten about
and let's see what you would say to these questions. Your tip, Sam, for the triple up. If you were going to triple up on Leicester City, Liverpool, Leicester or City, Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea or Wolves, where would you go? Leicester. Actually, 36% saying Chelsea, and I have to say, I think I would go Chelsea as well.
I'm on the right one.
So you are potentially on the right one. 36% saying Chelsea, 26 Leicester, 25 Man City, 10 for Liverpool, and only 1 for Wolves. So whoever answered that question, whoever asked it, Chelsea looks like the one the FPL family community would triple up on.
Interesting.
And given the value in that Chelsea team right now, I can't argue against that. Leads nicely to the next question. Best Chelsea attacker, Sam, is it Mount, Abraham, Hudson-Odoi, Pulisic or Willian? I think I would still go for Tammy, right? I'm going to go Tammy. 50% of you guys are saying best Chelsea attack is Abraham, 50. Mount in at 31, and then the others are bringing up the rear, really. Hudson-Odoi, 7, Pulisic, 5, Willian, 4. Best midfielder below 6.5, Sam. Tielemans, Grealish, Harvey Barnes, Hudson-Odoi or McGinn?
Tielemans for me, actually.
Tielemans, interesting. Okay, 32% of the community actually going with you on Tielemans. 34% still showing some loyalty to Mr. Callum Hudson-Odoi at Chelsea.
He's still a legend.
32% Tielemans, 11 for Harvey Barnes, 13 for McGinn, and only 6 for Grealish. I thought Grealish actually didn't look too bad again. He's in those nice advanced positions. Be interesting to see how he plays against Liverpool. Again, a difficult game for them next game week. And then Aguero, what would you do with him? Buy, hold, or sell?
We can't sell him ahead of
Southampton at home.
But I wouldn't buy him, so I guess we're holding.
He's a hold, okay. 65% interesting, he's saying sell. And then 31% saying hold. So
only
2% would be saying get Aguero in right now. So the guys are with you in terms of don't want to bring him in. But if you've got him, guys, my view and my opinion would be I think you hold him for Southampton at home.
I think you have to.
But 31% of you saying hold, 65% saying sell. Goodness me. And to be honest, it's difficult to disagree with that because he's such an expensive asset and we want to use that money elsewhere in our teams. And if you can't guarantee that he's going to play, then maybe it is the right thing to get rid of him. Maybe. The Pep Roulette strikes again, guys. The Pep Roulette strikes again. As ever.
Wouldn't be a game week if it didn't, would it?
I feel like these live streams, we are talking about the same thing over and over. We're talking about VAR. We're talking about tons of goals. We're talking about captaincy, dodgy blank decisions. Although if you got Sterling captain this week, fair play. That's absolutely the right choice. And we're talking about things like the Pep Roulette. Feels like it's I feel like a broken record week in, week out.
Round we go, round in circles.
Round we go again. And I'm pretty sure Southampton at home, there are going to be some more Pep Roulette problems.
Of course there is.
I think there's going to be more. So listen, guys, thank you for joining us. It's been loads to talk about again, as usual, with this week in FPL. I'll see you on FPL FYI on Wednesday/Thursday next week. I'll also see you on the Fantasy Premier League pod with James Richardson later in the week on Thursday and Friday. That is it for now. Well done if you're up into the 60s and the 70s, done really, really well. Anybody in the sort of 80s and 90s, I mean, if you're in the 90s, jeepers. If you've captained VARDY and you're up in the 90s,
I wish I captained
absolutely VARDY. Fair play. Absolutely sensational. Thank you for joining us, guys. Leave us a like before you go. Hit that subscribe button if you're new around here. Make sure you hit the little notify bell so that you know when we're live. But you guys already know when we're live. Sunday night, 8 p.m. and we'll see you this time next week. Cheers.
Bye, guys.